Hello everyone, this is Shining Noctales, and tonight I figured it'd be nice to stream yeah, a little bit more of my true ancestry for you guys. I noticed that I got another upgrade for my account. Thankfully this one wasn't as pricey as the last one. Um and at first I was a bit skeptical about it. I wasn't sure if it was something worth getting. But after seeing the results, particularly for my dad, and also a bit for myself too, I feel like it was worth getting. So, what I've learned is the G25 scaled results are a little bit different than genetic distance. So, genetic distance is basically like how close you are genetically to someone. Like, let's say you have a Japanese person and they have another Japanese person in front of you. Um, it'll essentially compare your DNA, and depending on how close your DNA is, like that will be your genetic distance. So let's say if one Japanese person has like it has like a 99 like an example like has a 99% shared ancestry for another Japanese or like a shared population, then that number will probably be very small. Now the G25 scud results to me is like let's say you have two Japanese and you have a Japanese with only for whatever reason he only has Yuyoi ancestry. And then you have another Japanese with Jomon ancestry. So even though like genetically distance-wise, the Japanese with Jomon ancestry and the Japanese with Yayoi ancestry, like Jomon and Yayoi ancestry, and the Japanese with Yayoi ancestry will still be genetically close because they still have that shared Yayoi ancestry. The person with the Jomon ancestry, even if he might be genetically further distant from the Jomon because he's primarily of Yayoi ancestry, it'll probably show up closer on his G25 scaled results, kind of showing that he still has a close relationship with that person, even after thousands of years or whatnot. So why is this all so important? Because I noticed with my dad's DNA in particular, we'll start with him and then we'll go to my dad's partner and then myself. I noticed that my dad, so it seems like his closest population is actually migratory period Hungary. So let me see, because like, so this is what I'm trying to talk about genetic distance. So sometimes, even though like I have like what is it, over 1,750 sample results, so it just shows like how genetically distant, either my dad, his partner, or I am to a certain group. So for example, my dad, genetically distance-wise, so far he's genetically closest to Ugyl Trans-Ural Russia, which is a admixture of, well, really Y-DNA and N 1A, which is kind of more so Neo-Siberian ancestry, kind of like ancestry that you would find most common in Finnish people, but also in what did they call them? The Naganasan. So I'll see if I can get an image of them. People with highest Y-DNA have I think it's the Naganasan that. Oops, my bad. Yes. Or wait, actually. Oh, I didn't know this. Okay, so even Yakuts, Tovolars, and Cardiacs. Okay, so they also have very high Y-DNA and ancestry. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so the Yakuts do. Okay. Okay. So I didn't realize Yakuts had such a high haplogroup N ancestry. I knew their maternal ancestry was linked to East Asians through the maternal side, but I didn't realize how high their Y-DNA and ancestry was. Okay. I thought the Naganasans were like really high. Like I thought they were like 90% or something. Let me see. Yeah, no, I was right. Okay. Okay. Because I remember something like that. Okay. So kind of think of them as the modern day Siberians, or at least some of the modern day Siberians. This would be on the paternal side, not on the maternal side. The maternal side is still shared through the Native Americans, and I include Native Japanese Americans, Japanese, and the Siberians through maternal haplogroups C and D. This is just more so the paternal lineage. Okay. So you can see here from my and this is where it's interesting, right? Because what I'm thinking in my mind, so you can tell the Y-DNA is clearly modern day Siberian. Um, and I believe the maternal haplogroup is European. So I guess this individual would have been probably a modern day Siberian or medieval Siberian person that had mixed really with a European person. And that might be why they also got all the Viking and that. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, and I want to see, did my dad, was that also one of his closest groups on G25? Okay, I guess it was then. All right then. Okay. So yeah, it seems like it was more so like a medieval Siberian person. Because you have the Paleo-Siberians and then you had the Neo-Siberians that came after. The Paleo-Siberians are more so related to, um, well, this is Y-DNA, but let's see. Yeah, Paleo-Siberians are an ancient ancestral component ancient North Eurasian linked to ancient hunter-gatherers of Siberian Europe. For Y-DNA haplogroups included M45. Neo-Siberians are a more recent population group, primarily East Asian origin, who migrated into Siberia and the Americas. Mostly descend from ancient East Asians. Population replaced Paleo-Siberians. Okay. Um. So basically, the Paleo-Siberians and the Neo-Siberians, they are largely related to each other. The main difference is the Neo-Siberians, one of the things is they have a Y-DNA-N, that's paternally, that's connected to the paternal ancestry of many modern-day East Asians. Um, while the Paleo-Siberians and ancient North Eurasian, this is on the paternal side, they had haplogroups R and Q, which are related to modern-day natives, Americans, and many Europeans. However, if you look at the maternal ancestry, and this is why the Native Americans or Native Japanese Americans and East Asians are still fairly similar, because if you look at the maternal ancestry, especially if they have haplogroup D, like which I think my dad had, that is related to the Japanese, that, or you could say Jomon, but it also connect to Yayoi as well, because they would have shared. Oh, hello, Diego. Glad you could join the stream. They would have shared the same maternal haplogroup uh, D. I almost want to say like Will of D, like from One Piece, but this is on the maternal lineage. Even though the Jomon certainly also have haplogroup D as well, so I guess you could say it can go on both ends. Um, but yeah, so they would have crossed um, during the ice before the end of the ice age. They would have been traveling north across Asia and Siberia, and then some went into Japan, as you can see here, and then some went further north or northeast into the Americas. And so, why is this so important? Well, for example, some native Mexican Americans asked me, why do you feel part Asian? And the thing is my great grandmother Lita, I know it's a bit of a fuzzy photo, but here's an image on the left of her. To me, she looked very similar to this Japanese woman here, Taeko Shitama. And she was Taeko Shitama was a Japanese American born in Seattle. And she, even though I don't think she was directly in Japan during the time when Hiroshima and Nagasaki were dropped, the bomb, so to say. She did go. I think she'd go back and forth to see family. So when she went there to see the destruction, it was hard for her. But then she healed, and then she, had family in the Americas, just kind of similar to my great grandmother Lita, where she, married and had children with a man of European descent, and that was actually the same thing with my great grandmother Lita as well. And I could see when Taiko Shitama would smile, it reminded me so much of my great grandmother Lita's smile. Like the way they smiled, the way they would light up the room, it was almost the same kind of energy. Um, and I'll see if I can find an image of her smiling. It's just something I noticed in particular. Um, all right, no worries. Take care, Diego. Yeah, he's just one of my other viewers that likes to come now and again to my channel. Yeah, let me see. Taeko Shitama, Japanese smile. Yeah, there would be um yeah, she would have a smile that light up the room. Kind of something similar to this a little bit. I don't want to play the video right now, um but yeah, it'd be something, it'd just be something like that, kind of like that would light up the room. Like you could tell it was just kind of a very powerful energy. Let me see. Can I find it without having to? Yeah, well, anyways, if you guys want to watch the video, I'll link it in the description below. But yeah, no, it was something uh that would just remind me so much of my great grandmother Lita. And even my friend Tim told me that um because on one comparison it's 68%, but he told me, honestly, if it didn't say 68%, I would have thought it would be 78, 80. So, uh, yeah, I'll put the link in the video description a little bit later. But yeah, so I would probably say that the Japanese ancestry I inherited because I know Kaya, she's a Japanese YouTuber, and I can also link um, a video to her channel as well if you're interested. She was asking me like if a lot of my Japanese ancestry was mainly of paternal ancestry, and I said, well, not exactly. I mean, maybe some, maybe, but I was telling her more so about the paternal ancestry that really the mothers of the Japanese, which would are not only the Jomon but also the Yayoi through the shared maternal haplogroup D4. I guess not only went into Japan but also to the Americas, and they crossed over for thousands of years. And so that might be one reason why, even though my great grandmother Rita and Daiko Shitama had different fathers, they probably look very similar due to their shared maternal ancestry, which would be the ancient Northeast Asian ancestry, which is probably why they look very similar. Um, so it's kind of like, a Japanese woman, even if, whether she is with a man of European descent or a man of Japanese descent, sometimes the children will both will come out looking Asian anyways. I guess it's the same thing too for the native Japanese Americans as well. But anyways, so yeah, so I wanted to share that because I feel it was very good. Okay, so let me see here. Yeah, so you can see like the closest match my dad got with G5, G25 doesn't show up. Now the trans Russia or Siberia. I prefer to say Siberia because those were, the kind of like the first people that were in that region, or some of the first people. Yeah, that showed up. Um, Let me see. Drought in Denmark. Does that show up for him? See, sometimes, see, like even though say this, this is a close connection to, um, to this individual won't always show up. Yeah, so the one that I found really interesting was the Tarim mummy, uh, Xiaohe. And so I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming. So why is this Tarim mummy? Why is this so important? Well, because the thing is, a lot of people have been asking, where do these people come from? And they are primarily ancient North Eurasian ancestry with very similar levels to Native Americans or even Native Japanese Americans, as well as ancient Northeast Asian ancestry. So, and some people have speculated that they were mainly Europeans or something like that. Um, but the truth is, when I saw the images of these mummies, they reminded me a lot of the mummies in Peru. Because of just the way they're, I'll see if I can find a good image. Um, Not that one. Okay, I'm gonna have to find a good example. Okay, so you look at the mummies here, and you look at, let me see if I can find it. Can I? Okay. So I noticed that some of um, the people of the Moche civilization, so they were kind of a civilization that predated the Inca in Peru. These people were not just indigenous people in North America. They weren't the original. They weren't just the original people who had came to America 12,000 years ago, or they were um, the best way I can describe it. So, the image I showed you of Japan, the maternal haplogroup, the D4H3, that eventually went to the Americas. This would have been this individual from 12,000 years ago, and this would have been yeah, D4H3A, that's connection to Japan, Jomonya Yoi, indigenous people of North America. And then these are the modern day populations. And then also they're connected to the Tsimshian and Tlingit of the Pacific Northwest as well, and Haida because of Shukaka, which means man ahead of us. They were also one of the original maternal ancestors of the people of the Pacific Northwest, and this is maybe why my old friend Jess would also say she felt like she was a medieval Japanese person because it would go back through that lineage. But this person from Peru was quite a bit different because notice with this person 12,000 years ago, it's all, I mean, aside from the Japanese connection, it's all uh, native groups essentially. And then, of course, you have the Athapascan, but the person in Peru was very different. I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, so you notice here medieval ages. So they still have indigenous people in North America, but they were also mixing with other people as well, like the Huns, um, Greco-Bactrian, and that's where I think the uh, the Tarim mummy connection is, because I think the Greco-Bactrian had a connection to those mummies, or they may have even been a mixture of those populations. Let me see here. Yeah, so there might have been a connection between that civilization that was settled in that area. Um, yeah, and then you have Avar, which is connected to the Ruran. You have the Saka, which is like a tribe and connected to the Yakuts in Siberia. Um, And you can see that with the modern day populations of this group, you have the Selkoops, which you didn't see at all in the 10,000 before Common Era match, which were Selkoops are like I think Paleo-Siberians. Um, I'll see if I can find an image of them. So they would look something more similar, um, kind of like this, I guess. Yeah, this might be a good example. Something like that. And then you have the Hants, the Ket Siberians. Ket Siberians are one of the oldest Paleo-Siberians. You had the Nanets, and the Nanets are another group of Siberians as well. Um, I think the Nanets are Neo-Siberian. I think. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that Y-DNA haplogroup N also found in Uralic populations. This would also be connected to these people. So you have the shores, and then you have the Udmurts. So that was the clue. The Udmurts kind of being in that mixture because a lot of the mummies in Peru were during that time were found to have, or even before, were found to have red hair, and a lot of the Udmurts also are shown to have red hair, and they're also, I think, are connected to the haplogroup N, or that, or I think like a Finno-Uralic lineage. Um, and I'm thinking, there was a connection for sure. Probably, either from the Tarim mummies, them, and then of course the mummies in Peru. I feel like they're all kind of connected, and yeah. Okay. Um, and then you got the Mansi, Canty Mansi. That's another group as well. So you see this mixture of Paleo and Neo-Siberian kind of migrating with each other around that time period in Central Asian and of course East Asian. It's all kind of connected. You see Eskimo there. They were already kind of coming in. Arctic Amerindian. Sorry. But yeah, no, it's important to kind of take note of this because you might ask yourself how did they get all the way down there around that time period, and they could have traveled along the coast. They could have gotten there by foot. But I'm thinking they got there along by the coast somehow. But anyways, so my dad, I didn't see that the examples with the tier mummies in his deep dive, or even in his genetic distance. Um, but I think it is there, like somewhere, because there's some kind of relationship. Even though it's probably further back than the genetic distance, at least from when you break it all down to the relations, even if he is genetically distant from these Terra mummies, that somehow he's related to them. So, um, then he has some PS Dynasty. I don't know if that's, if I can find that. Let's see. No, that's probably further back. Yeah, so you see some of the G25, it's easier to find a connection to because you can also see in the genetic distance, and some of them you can't. Hungarian Conqueror. Let's see. Yeah, it's further back. Yeah. My dad would always say he's East Asian, and now it definitely makes sense now saying this. My dad looks a lot like Fumio Kishida, and then my uncle Herman. I'll see if I can get an image here. He looks a lot like I'll get an image of my Uncle Herman. I call him Uncle Cherokee Japanese Herman. He uh looks a lot like who is it? The he looks a lot like I have an image here. I just have to get it. Okay, maybe no, okay, I got it now. So I'm gonna see if I can. Hold on. Wait, let me. Yeah. So you see Nobu Uematsu on the left. He's one of the prominent creators of the Final Fantasy music series. And then you see my uncle Cherokee Japanese Herman on the right. And to me, I feel like if they saw each other, they would probably go to a bar. If they saw each other in Japan, they probably would go to a sushi bar and probably eat some sushi and some sake and maybe some fried eel. But to me, like they're just, you know, you might if they're not brothers, they're at least cousins for sure, for sure. Like there's no doubt. I so I just can't help but laugh when I see that. Um, and so that's why I always call him Uncle Cherokee Japanese Herman. Um, but yeah, so um, yeah, so um, okay. I I haven't done a run through my Uncle Herman's ancestry, but I have to imagine it's probably similar to my dad's, at least in some way. So now, see, these are some other matches my dad got too, like ancient Russia. Well, really, I'm gonna just rename. I'm gonna change it. Ancient Siberia, Omskaya. I don't even know where this is, but okay, let's see. Um, because this is probably connecting to like some Siberian ancestry. Um, yeah, let me see. Siberian groups. Okay, so you have Kazakhs, Tatars. Um, okay. Were there any indigenous Siberians in this population? Tatars. Okay, Kanti Mansi. So yeah, so that would be the match with the yeah, the Kanti Mansi. Yeah, so they would have some of the modern day Siberian ancestry, but they would also have maternal haplogroups. Yeah, West Eurasian and East Eurasian, ACD. Yeah, so they have kind of a mixture of sorts. Okay. And that's probably why sometimes when people of European and East Asian descent, like Japanese and people of European descent, when they have children, sometimes people ask if they're Native American, because the Native Americans really are kind of like a mixture of both, at least in some senses, in some ways. Um, okay. Um, Okay, and then this one's ancient Siberia forest steppes Morgan. You see, I didn't get this in my G25, but my dad did, which just shows he's probably a little bit closer, um, and it makes sense because of the ancestry. Okay, beautiful area actually. Or Mergen, yeah. Um, located. Okay, so again, Tatars, but probably also related to uh, older Siberian groups as well, like probably the Yakuts or Ruran. Go far enough? Okay. Whew, it's a lot. Oh yeah, so my dad also got another one too that's important to mention. Now I'm mentioning a lot of the Asian ancestry because you know there's a lot of it there, Siberian. Um, oh, he also got Egypt as well, like I did. Um, ancient Egypt lady. Okay, so maybe I don't know if I got it from him then, because I know my dad would sometimes get um ancestry from North Africa. Right, like it would usually say indigenous Amazigh, but it seems like it might also be a connection to the ancient Egyptians. Let me see here if I can get it. When did she live? She was the daughter of a doorkeeper of the Gold House of Amon. Yeah, so that's really cool. And so this ancestry probably comes from my not his not my dad's mother's lineage, but probably from his father's mother's lineage. So my dad would always call his grandmother from his father's side Borja, and that would probably come from because sometimes my dad would get like a North African reading ancestry. But that would also include not only you know the modern day inhabitants there, but also people who've lived there for a long time, like the ancient Egyptians, the Amazigh, and so this might be that might be a connection. Um, yeah, divine production and deceases resurrection. Yeah, so that's really cool. So not only does my dad have a connection to the Tarim mummies, but he also has a connection to ancient Egypt, ancient Egyptian mummies. It's a connection to both. Um, well, yeah. So this match with Mexico, at first I didn't know if it was a Native American reading, but it seems like the individual in question was primarily of European descent. European, but also Sardinian. And I'll see if I can pull this up for you. So the individual here, the reason why the readings are a little bit further off is because probably because the individual was a mix of early Scalaveni, early Croats were Scalaveni. I don't like to use the word Slav because of its connotation. I prefer to use the word Scalaveni. Uh, but they had a mix of Sardinian, and the Sardinians are a little bit more distantly genetically related to Europeans and other groups, and I know that because I'm related to Otsi, which is very closely related to modern day Siberians, but uh, a fair bit further away from other Europeans. So that's why this reading is a little bit off towards modern day European groups. Well, Sardinians are modern day European groups, but they're a bit more genetically distant to other Europeans than others are. Um, yeah, so yeah, that okay, so that and then that had a match with the I know my Uncle Herman always calls me Celtic healer. This particular sample would be a mix of ancient Greek, which would have come after the Mycenaean Greeks and the Trojans. Um, uh, Downey was I think like a Greek tribe that settled in parts of Italy. Sanamani, Gallic-Celtic Sanamani, I think were connected to the Druids. Uh, and then also Hellenistic pagans if you go far back enough. And then the Sequani, which is a Gallo-Celtic tribe in that lived in areas such as modern day France. Okay. So yeah, so ancient Siberian again, mummy. You got this one again. Uh, yeah. So I don't know. Wait. Okay. Okay. So this is 8. Does he have any other? No. So okay. So this one shows up, but not okay. But the other one's probably further back because it goes back more to the Siberian lineage. Medieval. I'll call it medieval Siberian. I think that's a good way of saying it. Medieval Siberian. And you see all these groups here. Yeah, medieval Siberian. Okay. Kagan. Hungry elite. Yeah, like it's a lot of Asian. It's a lot of Asian. Like Viking. So there's Saka, Scythian, Tian Shin, connected to they said the Amazons or the Amazonas Ortea. It almost sounds like Ortega, but Ortega. That's my mom's last name. She was a I don't know if my mom would also be connected as well, but she was said to have been connected to the Sarmatians, which were um, which I think some of the Saka Scythians they might have had a connection. I'll have to check to be sure though. Um, Saka Scythian women connected to Sarmatian. Yes, so they were. Yes. Yeah, so she would have been the one who would have married Ares, the Greek god, or the Greek and Mycenaean Greek and Trojan god. There's an image of him here. And then this reminds me a lot of lightning, lightning from Final Fantasy 13. Yes. Okay. Um, you even got Finnic formation. So you can see a lot of the closest matches my dad has definitely heavily towards Asian. This isn't genetic distance, so genetic distance, my dad is also closely related to Celts. This is just as G25 scaled. This is just, I mean, aside from the genetic distance, it's showing just, other populations he would have been related to, I guess, on a relationship basis. So even if he was genetically further away from some of these groups, there would have still been a relationship there. As you can see, my dad has some Celtic matches. Now, let's go with, I'm just going to take a quick intermission from my dad before we get to Celtic Healer, because I want to do his partner, Julie. She would always be so proud, so proud to say she was um, Anglo-Saxon. She, and then she's like, I'm not just that, Lou, but yeah, no, um, she's kind of a little bit uh, funny when it comes to that. Okay, so you can see here the closest match she has, aside from Anglo-Saxon, early Anglo-Saxon cemetery, is Pick Era, Scotland. Some people, like my British, Welsh, English friend Matt calls me her favorite Scottish American. Now, Jewel is sort of connected as well, sort of. And she's like, "What do you mean, sort of?" And then I'll say, "Well, the thing is, so this individual may very well have had some Pictish ancestry, which was like a Celtic tribe in Scotland. And you can definitely see there's Celtic admixture. But the closest group is Anglo-Saxon. So why is that so important? Why is that so important? Oh. Well, the thing is that some people try to use the they try to say that they've been in Britain since time immemorial, or they've been in Scotland time immemorial, but the Anglo-Saxons, at least the unified group of Anglo-Saxons, didn't really come to Britain until around the medieval ages. So, so it is indeed Celtic, but it's also Anglo-Saxon. Yeah, and so then her next match is Yorkshire, and she's very closely connected to these groups. Uh, and she's probably like, Blue, I should. I need a mix. I need a mix. I see you laughing. Ah. Okay. I can't find that particular match in the genetic distance, but okay. So the other one is Cambridgeshire. I don't see it here either. Oh no, it's okay. Okay, so this one's cool because I got this one as well. If this is the one they're looking for. Okay, so this is before the Anglo-Saxons. So this match has different groups, a lot of Celtic groups. Um, yeah. Yeah, Joe and I both have this one. You can see Spanish is a little bit closer. I don't know about it was the other one, the this the one from see how close this one is. Yeah, you see how this one's a little bit further, and then the other one's a little bit closer. Yeah. Okay, and then the other one's Norway. Okay, so Yeah, so see, some of these just don't show up. I don't know why. Okay, another Anglo-Saxon. Another. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, I think this is the one. Okay, no, so this one has Vandal in it, which I have some of that as well. So Vandal, and I have a little bit of Anglo-Saxon myself as well. I just like the teaser on it because she... it's just funny. Yeah. So yeah, and then yeah, so you can see Alemany, yes, Alemany, Switzerland. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so it's probably like something like this. Oh, this one actually has some Basque in it. Viking, some Viking as well. Okay. Oh, Kilt Sheen, so there's some Irish there. Okay. Okay, Viking. Viking pick. Gale, Breton. And the other thing too to note about the people in Britain and Ireland is even though some people see them before the Anglo-Saxons and Vikings and all that, and Normans, Franks being primarily of Celtic descent, they also have an additional population beforehand, which were called the Belbeaker people. So really, because I don't think the Celts arrived into Britain until uh, like only 2,500 to 3,000 years ago, so they came a little bit later. While the Belbeaker people of Britain, they were 90% of Britain, yeah, they were there before, so they were before the Celts in Britain and Ireland. Now, if you want to know who Celtic Healer really is, you should see him. Not to say that the people in Britain and Ireland aren't all the real Celts, but I think that they're under the impression that they are the origin of Celts, but that's not entirely the truth. And so you kind of have to wrestle it back from them. Not in a bad way, but just to show them, hey, like, I don't think you know where the Celts really came from, my friend. Okay. So, okay, so then after that you have the Utes or the Jutes, Apple down. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't show up there. But that would have been I got some Utes as well. I like to say Ute. But yeah. Nordic Bronze Age Denmark. You can see a lot of Scandinavia medieval Denmark, Orkney, Westray. See some Scottish Celtic early, okay. More Virginian Flanders, Plymouth Viking, Elamani, Nordic Bronze Age art, and some Irish. Yeah, so it's definitely a lot of Scandinavia, Netherlands, Germany, Britain, Ireland, Scotland, even a little bit of France, a little bit. Let me see. Does this show up in the? Because there's Gallo Celtic. Because this will be like a nice segue into the Celtic ancestry I have. If it's similar, if it's similar. Because she did have some groups that did show up as more than just English. Yeah. So no. Well, Y-DNA is there, but it's even closer. Let me see. See, it's even closer. Let me see. No, it's closer. Yeah, because this will be a nice segue into yeah. So she did get some Celtic matches that also I got as well from France from the Iron Age, and so these are the ethnic or the Hallstatt. Well, I don't really like to say Hallstatt. I like to say Gallo Celts because I prefer Latena as well, but Gallo Celts as well. Uh, you can see here's a mixture of Etruscans or Etrusci, so she has a bit of that. So those were the people before the Romans who developed the arch, the Henneti, the Latin. So not Native American, Mexican, Latino, but the actual the Italic group that lived in Italy before the Romans. Then she has some Gallo-Roman, which is connected to the Gallo-Celts. And you can see the admixture, mainly Spanish, Southwest French, Portuguese, maybe some North Italian. Also, you see Welsh, English, not too far in the distance, connected through the probably some of the Italo-Celtic tribes, and I think Etruscans or the Etrusci, partially related to the Bell-Beakers as well. So. I know some people might say, he's lost it, but no, it's great. It's nice to see it like that. You can see another match here of the Gallic Senimani tribe. So connected to the Senimani, the Gallo-Celtic Senimani, connected to the Druids. The Etrusci, the Visigoths, which were the Goths that came from Gotland, from southern Scandinavia. The Roti, the Aquitani. And the Reti sounds a lot like the goddess of or the I think she was the mother of Zeus. And I think that tribe is connected. I'll see if I can find it. Not that one. It's yeah, Rhea. I think she was the mother of Zeus. Yes, Zeus. Yes. So yeah, there it is. There it is. Aquitani. Aquitani, connected to the French Basque as well. I can see her saying he's so happy that. Yeah, so you can see it there. Gallo-Celtic sequiny, a little bit. I can see her saying, Lou, I didn't just throw rocks at people for thousands of No, it reminds me of I saw a video from Britain where they were throwing rocks as a protest. But not like in Scotland where they do it as a contest. It was more like a protest throwing rocks. Yeah. I don't know if yeah, like probably Something similar to that, yeah. But yeah, no, I could see you're saying, we didn't, we just didn't throw rocks for thousands of years. But all right, so now let's get to me. So we did my dad, we did my dad's partner, and now we can finally get to myself. So this is where Celtic Healer really also shines as well. Well, the origin of the Celts. Because of course, my dad's partner has the connection as well, but this is I don't want to call it the real McCoy, but it's the original origin. Okay, so I got the match with the Sardinian Greek Celtic Scalaveni settler in medieval Mexico. Norway, so I couldn't find that in my genetic distance. So this one, Battle Axe, battle. I can see it. I can see my dad's partner saying, "Oh yeah, throwing rocks. How's the battle axe that much better?" Well, I do play warrior in Final Fantasy 14, so. Okay, so this was in Sweden around almost 5,000 years ago. However, this might even have partially predated the Bellbeaker. So the original people of this population were Spanish, Southwest French, French Basque. They were a mixture of Gallo-Celtic Sequani, connected to me. The Etruscan, so the Etruski were connected. The Ratai, so I feel like it's somehow connected to uh, potentially the mother Zeus, Zeus, Aquitani, and then Iberian, which Iberia would be Spain and Portugal. Uh, so yeah, so this person, even though lived in Battle Axe, Sweden, almost 5,000 years ago, he wouldn't have been related to the because I did get a Bell Beaker not batch match as well, but this wasn't in Norway at the time. This was in Germany. And this person was related to modern day Norwegians and Swedish and all that good stuff. Yeah, they related to Longbeards, Chelsea, Thaler, Ute, Swaby. Yeah, so this would have been the Bellbeaker. But you can see these were clearly not Celtic people. These were more so really related to the Scandinavian people. You could say Norse or Nordic or Norse or Scandinavian or whatever you want to say it. But yeah, I just say Scandinavian. These were really more so related to Scandinavians than really the Celts. Uh, yeah. But yeah. But again, I do have Scandinavia as well. I got Viking Age, and I couldn't find that either. I got a match in London. Okay, and then we got some matches from Belgium. My dad always talks about Belgium. Belgium, Belgium, Belgium. He's always talking about it. Yeah, so okay, let's see. Yeah, so I those particular samples, even though I'm genetically close, I couldn't find the exact ones. Then there was one from France. Okay, let's see. Yeah, some of these are a little bit tough to track down. 22 volt. Yeah, so you can see our Sequani, which is a Gallo-Celtic tribe, Socionis, so the Belgic Socionis, Batavi, Adui, now the Celtic tribe sounds like Louis. and then connect to the French, West German, East German, Swiss, South Dutch, Hungarian, Flemish. Okay, so this one. Okay, so the thing with the Belgic tribes is they're not just Celtic. I know some people. Well, I don't know. Some people may not want to hear it, but the Belgic people were, or the Belgi or Belgae, however you want to say it, a lot of them were really a mixture of Celtic and Germanic. So they were like a fusion of sorts. They were like Jomon and Yoyoi kind of fusion, but maybe a little bit more, even a little bit more rambunctious amongst each other. Because for what my friend Maffey said is that Belgium was kind of created as kind of like a buffer country, to get the French and Dutch to stop fighting each other. And the Batavi are connected to the Dutch, so you can see clearly there is that in the admixture. Batavi are more so Germanic. So I can see Roe say, he's lost it. Yeah. No, but it's great. Okay, so there's another Gallic Celtic tribe, Sequany, France. Okay, so I have a match with this individual as well. So she would have been related to the modern day Spanish Galicia, Portuguese, French, Serbian. Oh yeah, there's a Serbian. That maybe that's. I was told by a German immigrant in Serbia about he thought it was Serbian because I liked mayonnaise. So, or he thought I had Serbian blood because I liked mayonnaise. But I guess that would have predated Scalaveni. So there you go. Catalonia, Castile-Leon, North Italian, Extremadura. But you can see even the Batavi are here as well, just a little bit further away. We were always connected, I guess, somehow. The Dutch. There's a saying in the Netherlands, and I know my Dutch friends would say, "Don't say it," but all you gotta, I'll make an analogy. So you know how some of the Dutch are very proud of their plating. The analogy I would say, if you don't have Dutch plating, I don't know what you're doing with your life, you know? But but yeah. So we got them as well. Okay. Yeah, some people call me a forest elf as well, and that I think. See, I know there's this battle between or the elves, the forest elves. Are they connected to Celts? Or are they connected to Germanic or Norse? To me, in my humble opinion, well, as best as I can describe it, I would say the elves, because when I think of like forest elves, I really think more so of Gaul more than the Netherlands or Scandinavia. Now there could have been a fusion with the Batavi, who came in who helped contribute, but I think the core of the elves, the core is Celtic. I think when you go deep into it, I think I could be wrong, but you can't tell me he doesn't look like an elf. You know, you can't tell me. you, you can't tell me that. You gotta have some Visigoth in him too, but and for me as well, this Aurelian, also I feel like in some ways could be like Link from Legend of Zelda, or be connected a little bit to the elves, but um, also this individual too. Um, but yeah, no, I think the thing about it is some people they I know my dad's partner would say these people they just they don't understand. They want to put you in a box, and and that's not how it works. Uh, yeah. Yeah. To me, he doesn't really look like an elf to me. He looks like well, if he was an elf, I would call him like a I don't know. I don't know if I want to even say sea elf. Maybe like I almost want to say like sea dog or maybe sea elf. I mean maybe. like ocean elf or you know, I don't know, like a sea elf. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, maybe my dad's partner is more like that. Another word would be like Syrian as well, but yeah, no, like I don't know, like, but I guess some of them eventually mixed with us, and we became connected to four selves. So even though there was constant battling in some ways, we had to eventually make a peace, and I guess that came through me. um, okay. And my dad's partner would be like, "That's right, Leah." They're like, "All right, you." It's like I guess like the Scottish and the English or Irish or I don't know, reminds me of Squidward from SpongeBob saying you're losing it. Do I have? Let me see. Okay, so I'm also connected to this individual as well, which reminds me a lot of my mom has a Scottish Australian friend named Josephine, and this individual reminds me a lot of her. This individual would be related to the modern day Spanish, Galicia, Portuguese, Castile y Leon, Extremadura, Catalonia, Murcia, North Italian, and Cantabria. She's connected to the Sequani, the Aedui, Batavi, Spaciones, the Pannonian. And some of these individuals too, let's see if I can find an image. I gotta wrap this up soon because I gotta take a shower and eat a little bit more and get some sleep. Like this individual in particular, she was closer to the Southwest English and the Welsh. So for her, it's just a Sequani. Yeah, because it's the Celtic connection. They didn't stay Bell-Beaker forever, or they didn't just completely become Anglo-Saxon either. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Um, oh yeah, and then Gallic France Adui Trivix. Got that one as well. As you can see, Spanish Galicia. This is to the Adui tribe, which is another Gallo-Celtic tribe. Okay, then I got a bit of the Ruron, but I couldn't find this match in particular. This specific 005 match. I had other ones that were close, but like I had. Oops, my bad. Ah, sorry about that. I didn't mean I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I'll see if I can get this. Yeah, so you can see I have a lot of Ruron because this is where the Avars originally came from. They came from the Ruron people. For anyone who doesn't know who Ruron are, they were a Northeast Asian tribe, also connected most likely to the Northeast Asian ancestry of the Japanese, or Tungzik. And they remind me a lot of not only of the Lombard knights in Italy, as they probably adopted the armor, maybe even some of them mixed, um, but also the Japanese Rurouni Kenshin as well. The anime? well as the Samurai armor. That reminds me a lot of the Ruron armor, the Avar armor. You know, that kind of connection. Yeah. And this is, I think this I probably got through the native Japanese American ancestry because the natives, as you saw, also mixed with other people as well, and these were probably one of the people. And then you can see some of them were more so closely related to Europeans, some more to East Asians, depending on the match, of course. I think one even had a match connected to some of the maternal haplogroups of the Ainu and other Japanese maternal in Siberia maternal haplogroup G2 connected to Avar, Saka, modern day Tatar. You know, because a lot of the populations in Central Asia, even parts of Western Siberia, mixed with Europeans, and then you got the Colville, which is a tribe in very close to me actually in the Pacific Northwest. They live across the border. Yeah, you can kind of see an image there. Okay. Okay, and then got more Belgic. It's Belgic and Celtic. It's like a mixture of Germanic and Celtic. Thuringia tribe. So this was a tribe in modern day Germany that had some East Asian kind of admixture. Because I think for example, some East Asian tribes like the Huns, when they came through parts of Germania, some of the uh, women mixed with the men. And you can see artificially deformed skull. This is what for example, some descendants of, I guess, the Huns, also connected to the Xiongnu, did. They were also connected, and also you could see they had an influence in other populations, such as those in Peru and in Mexico. Now let me check the Xiongnu and Xianbei. I feel like the Ruron are more connected to the Xianbei. Um, but I want to see. I think the Xiongnu were the ones who more so deformed the skulls, not the Xianbei. But let's see here. Yeah, so you can see the Huns, colonel cranium. Oh, so even some of the Xianbei did it too. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, at least it didn't cause neurological damage. Yeah, but still, I personally prefer it to be natural. I don't think the Avars did as much for the Ruron, but let's see. Yeah, so stronger with the Xiongnu for sure. Some Xianbei did as well, but it's probably not as common. Because you can even see it with the Huns. Yeah, but but not the original Ruron. So yeah, so some of the Avars who left the Ruron did it as well. but probably not so much the original Ruran, which were also connected to the Shanbei, which were have said to have introduced Buddhism into Japan in the medieval ages through the Northern Wei dynasty in China, and then they kind of transfer that knowledge to Korea, medieval Korea, and then they transfer that to to Japan. Yeah, the Three Kingdoms period in Korea. Yes, and that would have been around the time of the Buddhism introduced to Japan. During the Ahsoka period, yes. Yeah, Kingdom of Bakche. Yes. But yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? But yeah, this is the. But even still, this modern day person would have been generically closest to the modern day French. I don't know if that's why the Japanese and even some of the Chinese have what they call the Paris syndrome. I don't know if there's a connection not only to Germany but even France. you know, um, I don't know. You have to remind them of the Gallo Celts, that predated the medieval East Asian tribes. Uh, Got to remind them of Celtic healer. But yes, um, yeah. So French, South Dutch, Flemish, West German, Austrian, Serbian, East German, Spanish Catalonia. It seems like this person had a pre-Frankish comb. Oh, there's a connection there. This individual's a 6-year-old female. Over 60 years old. No, this probably is when she was younger. But I don't know. Maybe she looked like that when she was 60. I don't know. No, it's pretty close to Danish, Welsh, Southwest and South East English as well. North Italian, Spanish. Oh yeah, because I think Spanish was one of the groups in there, right? Yeah, Catalonia. Okay. Well, there it is. Yeah, it's just interesting how, especially during the medieval ages, how like a lot of East Asian tribes, how they went east into the Americas and west into Europe. So I got Celtic Iron Age, France B. Le Long, I think. Okay, so I don't I have one that's really close though. French Soft Dutch. Oh yeah, so here you have a mix of Thuringian, Edui, Batavi, but this was even before I guess the East Asian ancestry. So it would have been more so during the Celtic Age, the Celtic period. Okay. So you can see with me, I have a lot of Celtic. I also have connection to Mycenaean Greece as well, of course, Sardinia. A lot of French, a lot of Belgic, some Ruran. Uh, yeah. Let's see. Hungarian conqueror period. Migration. Do I have that one? R or KF? Okay, I do. So this person. Okay. The mixture of Thuringian, Ostrogoth, Gaul, Socionus, Gepids. Okay. Oh yeah, so there's the Tatar. So there's the Ruran ancestry most likely. Yes. So even during that, already see the mix there. Celtic Gaul. Got this match as well. Got Croatia, late Imperial. There it is. Oh, okay, so I am matched this person. Okay. So this would have been Croatia during around the declining period of the Roman Empire. The Belgae, Frank, Gaul, Aurelian, Suetonius, Belgi, Belgae. Reminds you of a little bit of lightning from Final Fantasy 14 or no 13. Sardinia, Theros. Okay. Oh, so this one. Okay, French, South Dutch. So mix of Adui, Batavi. Okay. Rungi. This was also during the Iron Age. Okay. So all the way in Sardinia. That's pretty cool, actually. Okay, so Celtic. Yeah, I have a lot of Celtic. It's either Celtic or Belgic. It's, it's somehow mixed. Okay, so this one. Equinia Dewey. This reminds me a lot of the Wildlands from Final Fantasy Lightning Returns. I've been having a lot of fun with that. Yeah, so my dad had a ton of Asian, Siberian, and then with me, it's a lot of Celtic or Belgic. And I got the Egypt as well. I didn't get the tier mummies as one of my top matches, but I still got Egypt. So, for what it's worth, I love Yu-Gi-Oh. It's one of my favorite series. I can see a lot of connections, like with. Oh, I got connected to the forest elf. Yes, Portuguese, Spanish, Catalonia, Castile Leon, Galicia, Extremadura, Murcia, Southwest English, Welsh. He looks like he could have been one of the warriors in Arthurian legend as well. Well, there it is. Proto-Celtic France, Bronze Age. Now I can see when my Uncle Herman calls me Celtic healer. He's like, Celtic healer, Celtic healer, Celtic healer. And now I can see it. I can see it now. West German, French, Flemish, Welsh. So he has some Frisian in there. Got Bronze Age France, France, Bouy de Seti, Tsuri. I guess sorry. Yeah, I didn't get any Gal Galician. Well, maybe eventually. Eventually. Because it does show up as one of my closest populations via genetic distance, as you can see here. Yeah. Portuguese, North Italian. Murcia, and you can see other populations here. Yeah, so I have to see what part of France this is at, and this reminds me of the Wildlands too. South Dutch, French, Flemish, West German, North, East German, West, Southwest English. Yeah, it's very close. Oh, maybe this area. Oh, okay, so it's closer to Switzerland. Okay. Okay, let me see what else I got. Got Bronze Age Bavaria. Oh boy. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna I'm not gonna yeah, no. No, because I know someone from Bavaria. He's German, and he thinks Bavaria is the only part of Germany that matters. So no, I'm not gonna give him. I'm not I'm not gonna give it to him. Uh-uh. I don't even think he would even shows up here, but anyways, let me see. I don't think so. Mm-mm. Anyways, that's Bronze Age though, so it's probably closer to Celtic potentially. Okay. Got Bohemia. Ah, French, Spanish, Galicia. Right, you can see it's quite a blend. And then these groups, um, the tribes in Belgium. I don't think I found the specific ones, but I found. Okay, so this one is Batavi, Frank, the Rungis, Wesjonas. This one's definitely Germanic. Pretty close to it though, eh? I didn't realize how close it was this match. There's another one. South Dutch, French, Flemish, Germanic, and Celtic. I got a lot of these. Okay, I don't know. But I guess this is telling me like which ones out of all those that I'm closest to. So like, yeah, I don't see either. Mm. Mm-mm. Yeah, let me look. Yeah, but it's probably somewhere there. Just probably like a different sample. I got Lungbard. Oh, there's the Lungbards. Oh, but here is Galician, okay. And a bunch of other groups as well. There you go. There's the Galatia. Somehow they got there. Mm, Latvia. RFK 79. I don't know if I got that one. Okay, this one I got. Wait, no. That's not. That's a different one. I think so. Isn't it? Yeah. Might be connected though. Oops. Okay, so this one I definitely got then. Yes, so Celtic Lethean. Latvia. I don't know about that one. Yeah, that's probably somewhere further back. It's an interesting one though. Austria. Anything Greece? Because like no, I only say that because I also like connect a lot with the ancient Greek heroes, and at least through my Aurelian ancestry I have, which also shows up in some of the Celtic admixtures. They would have been connected back to the Trojans and Mycenaean Greeks, back to the Age of Heroes. But yeah, I think the closest matches I have though seem to point towards Celtic aside. There's this one match, Italy. I know Matthew and my dad always joke. They always call me. Sometimes they joke around, call me Luigi. It's funny. Okay, I think there's a match. Might be something connected to this one. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Let me see. Was there any other ones connected to Italy? Just that one. Okay. Anything with Spain? Or there's this prince here. Place. Mm, 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 mm. This here, but Spanish pass. Oh, there you go. Formation. Spanish, Chubash, that's an interesting one. Yeah, so you can see a lot of France, a lot of Belgic. I don't know this one from Norway. I'll have to look more into that one. Well, at least you have the ancient Greek, Mycenaean Greek, Trojan match sort of in this one, sort of ish. And I guess sort of with the Celtic matches too, because if they have, since some of them have Brilliant, it goes back as well. Oh, Latena. Okay, during the Latena period. Austria Latena, not the guy with the ugly mustache, but it's not. I think there was like one that was similar. The name Brune. This one. It's like Celtic. Against Sequini and other tribes. Some nice footage. There's a Son of Money. Or there's the, well, Sequini as well. Closest. This one. There's really in Thuringian. Proto-Celtic. Yeah, and I couldn't find this specific match from London, unfortunately. But alright, I think we're done. We've done a lot, and I think it was a video worth doing. It was worth getting that on for sure. Anyways, guys, hope you take care. Hope you have a good rest of the evening, and bye for now.